Noah was the first farmer. He planted a garden. We tasted wine and got drunk with it. Genesis 9:20. The grapevines multiplied, spread, and served as the lifeblood of Armenian farming, and wine ran throughout the body of the Armenian highlands. For over several thousand years, the Armenians have long known how to cultivate grapes. These grape seeds, found in the Erebuni Museum, are the ancestors of today's Voskehat, Garonmak, Mshkhali, and Areni varieties. Armenia's terroir is perfect for winemaking. And the temperature difference between day and night is 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, enriching the fruit with a unique flavor. It's here that grapes grow abundant, both in fertile fields as well as the distant Rocky Mountains. Grapes are farmed mainly in the Tavush, Aragatsoten, Ararat, Armavir, and Vayetsor regions of Armenia.
Դեռևս 1980-ական թվականներից մեր ամբիոնում կատարվում էին խաղողի բջջասաղմնաբանական հետազոտություններ, բջջագենետիկական հետազոտություններ, հետազոտող մասնագետների հետ համատեղ աշխատանքի արդյունքում յուրաքանչյուր մեր սորտ ունի իր ֆենոտիպային եւ գենոտիպային անձնագիրը։ Մենք հայտնաբերել ենք այնպիսի եզակի գենոտիպեր, որոնք բնորոշ են միայն հայկական լեռնաշխարհին, միայն մեր երկրին, եւ մեր հետագա ուսումնասիրությունները թույլ կտա բացահայտելու նաեւ նրանց սելեկցիոն ներուժը եւ գենետիկական պոտենցիալը, որը ուղղակիորեն կապահովի բարձրորակ գինու արտադրություն։
This is Vayetsor, the magic area of winemaking, the highest point for Armenian winemaking. Over 20 villages are engaged in winemaking within this dry region. Areni. It is in this village, surrounded by mountains, that the sweet indigenous grape sort, known as Areni, grows.
Armenia offered many interesting things. Yeah? One of them was that we had indigenous varieties that go millennia, that they've been used and propagated for many years, so that Armenia was known for making wine. And those varieties were selected over the centuries to make great wine or very good wine, so to say. Armenia has volcanic soil. It is because it's a volcanic region, so a lot of it is basalt, tuff, and calcareous soil. So that in itself affects the quality of the fruit of the wine that you make, you grow. Very different than, let's say, clay soil. Yeah. And the third thing that is very unique about Armenia is the elevation. We have vineyards that are very high elevation. Most of our vineyards starts at 1,000 meters, that's around 3,000 feet, and go to 1,800 meters, which is Khachik village, which is probably one of the highest elevation vineyards in the northern hemisphere where grapes are grown.
The cave located in Areni has shaken history several times. In 2011, an Armenian, American, Irish scientific expedition discovered a wine production facility, as well as a 5,500-year-old shoe. The oldest single-piece leather shoe was found here. And the history of winemaking had to be rewritten. It turns out that the Armenians were already making the divine drink over 6,000 years ago.
The most interesting thing that what is the uniqueness of this site that I want to tell you. The organic material, look at the pegs, they are 6,000 years old. The organic material which is here being preserved unbelievably well. For example, in the wine tank we have some wheat and barley seeds where the cells are alive up to now.
The number of tourists visiting the cave increases every year. The discoveries within these caves serve as proof that winemaking originated in Armenia. Armenia has always been and will stay a country of wine.
Մենք շատ մեծ ներդրում ունենք համաշխարհային մտքի գինեգործական մտքի կայացման ու զարգացման գործում, լինի դա գինու պատրաստման գործընթացներ, վերաբերվեն դրանք գինու պատրաստման գործընթացներին, վերաբերվեն դրանք գինին եւ բժշկությանը, վերաբերվեն դրանք գինին եւ արվեստին եւ այլն։ Այսինքն ինքը շատ մեծ մի գլոբալ միջավայր է, որտեղ որ ձևավորվեցին շատ արվեստներ, արհեստներ, գիտություններ։ Գինին մեր նախնիները դարձրեցին փիլիսոփայության աշխարհայացքի առանցք եւ հիմնեցին գինեկենտրոն այդ փիլիսոփայությունը, որը որ կարմիր թելի նման անցավ մեր ողջ պատմության ընթացքում, ձևավորեց մեր ազգը, ձևավորեց հարևաններին եւ տվեց համաշխարհային մշակույթի գոհար։
8 wine cellars with 100 wine pots have been discovered in Garmir Blur, their average capacity making 900 liters. According to professional assessment, one would need to farm 300 acres of grape fields in order to process so much wine. The Urartu people would leave the wine under the sun, thinking this helped the fermentation process. Urartu was famed as one of history's main winemaking countries throughout Asia. Neighbors would often receive wine as a tribute, and invading countries would steal Urartian wine as a trophy. Research is ongoing, and new relics continue to be discovered, which are yet to be dated. One can visit the Agarak wine press, located close to Yerevan, the capital of Armenia, to see how people used to make wine hundreds of years ago. The wine press is similar to a present-day wine factory. The grapes are placed into filters where the fruit was mashed. The subsequent juice filled a basin via clay pipes. This is a pit covered with limestone and with a capacity of up to 100 liters, where the sweet sediment settles and the wine flows to either a pot or a wooden barrel. The wine would ripen 40 days after pressing. The pots were either buried on the ground or placed in a wine cellar. They were closed with a stone cover or plastered with clay. It's quite possible that the secret to the unique flavor of Armenian wines is in the preservation technique. It's worth noting that in the history of Armenian wine preservation, we see that mainly pots and not wine barrels were used. Today, some Armenian factories try to preserve the centuries-old traditions of winemaking. They trust wine pots to provide a characteristic flavor to the result of their long and hard work, the immortal drink. While using time-honored traditions and experience, and embracing modern techniques, today's wine is mostly preserved in wine barrels. Wine barrel masters bend, polish, and fasten the wood to make their barrel, and admire their work before passing the formed wine containers to the winemakers. Winemaking is rapidly developing and benefiting from modern techniques. In today's technological age, there are factories which utilize the latest tools to make outstanding wines. Thousands of years have passed since the times when wine was made in wine presses, by the hands of women and the strength of men. Armenian youth can learn this and more during their studies at Wine Academy. Since 2014, the Academy offers short courses for wine lovers. The people here study all about wine, from A to Z, and learn about the winemaking traditions they carry in their genes. Armenian traditional vineyards in the Ararat Valley, Gokhtan, and Vayetsor regions have always grown their grapes as a bush, and today they are watered by drip irrigation. Grapes are carefully irrigated in Armenia, because of limited water resources. This bush type absorbs more water, but keeps the soil wet longer. The fruit becomes more delicious from the combination of the land, water, and sun. Human energy is combined with the three components of the taste. He folds his back tenderly and gives a bow to the grape, collects the grape with care, and passionately makes wine out of it. People used to sing about wine, love, and passion while doing their housework. The rhythm of their chores is set by song, and so is the taste of wine intensified as well. In songs, wine was compared to a woman's lips, and the kiss to a glass of wine. The kiss between a human and wine kept them wanting more, a passion which is carried on from generation to generation. In the 15th century, it was widely believed that if one was upset, their spirits could be raised with the help of wine. This was even mentioned in medical books of the time. Wine was thought to help relieve chronic migraines or bring back sleep in the case of insomnia. If you notice that someone's pulse is getting weaker, offer the sick person some bread soaked in wine. The start of grape season is a celebration. The ripening of the grape is a celebration. And winemaking is a celebration, in which both young and old actively take part, like busy bees. One had a rich harvest, the other had none. And it is around wine that both the joyful and the upset, with their grape harvest, are united. Neighboring countries used to say, wine is the religion of the Armenian people. In keeping with their faith, Armenians blessed the grape before making wine. It was a big celebration. At this time, the fields were decorated with red threads and fabrics. The gardeners would take their first harvest to the church to have it blessed, known as charred, the blessing of the grapes. The celebration ended with an open-air feast. One can still follow this tradition in Armenia's capital of religion, Echmiadzin. One does not necessarily need a guide to learn about Armenia. Here, everyone knows a story of their house and their land. The hospitality of the people and the beauty of the land tell a story which transcends the language barrier. Churches and crossstones, carpets and jugs, tools and jewelry demonstrate with what high regard they held the grape and wine. Wine was in abundance everywhere, spreading its fragrant odor throughout the entire territory of Armenia. Armenian miniature painting, architecture, statuary are saturated with wine. Armenia makes its place on the winemaking tourism map, firmer year after year. Wine tours are organized within large wine factories. Tourists can follow the winemaking process from start to finish, as well as taste the exquisite drink within the plant itself. The secret to good wine is a good grape. Today, Armenian wine is served with modern dishes. Tourists and real gourmands take great pleasure in pairing Armenian wine with locally prepared foods. Did the birth and life of it.
Արենուն մեր ամենահայտնի խաղողի սորտին։ Սազական է բալի արտահայտված բույրը, մի փոքր մոշի կամ կարմիր այլ հատապտուղների բույրերը, որը տակառի հետ միասին ավելանում են օրինակ սուրճի կամ վանիլի կամ ընդեղենի բույրեր ու առաջացնում բուկետ, հա, այդ ամեն բույրով ու համերով առաջացնում է բուկետ։ Խաղողի առանձնահատկությունը արդեն իսկ առանձնահատկություն է, բայց գինին իր մեջ պարունակում է մշակույթ, հոգի, հա, էներգիա, այդանով հայկական գինները տարբերվում են։
Such a celebration is hosted in Armenia, where Armenia's wine history was started. Every year, after soaking hands into the divine drink, the winemakers gather to show the fruits of their labor. One has dry, the other has semi-sweet. The number of tourists attending the festival, as well as sponsors investing in it, has increased year after year.
Ժողովրդի ազարամյակների ընթացքում գինեգործությունը համարվել է ոչ միայն տնտեսական բարիք, այլ նաև հոգևոր եւ մշակույթի անբաժան մաս։ Զարգանում է նաև կրթությունը։ Վերջերս բացվեց Երևանի գինու ակադեմիան, որը տրամադրում է միջազգային կրթություն գինեսերների եւ գինեգործների համար։ Մեծ հետաքրքրություն կա նաև ներդրողների կողմից, ստեղծվում են նոր գինեգործական ընկերություններ, հիմնվում են նոր այգիներ, տարածվում են նաև մեր տեղացի սորտերը։ Այսօր Հայաստանի գինեգործությունը իր ուրույն տեղն է զբաղեցնում միջազգային ասպարեզում իր տեղացին սորտերից պատրաստված գինիներով, որն առանձնանում է իր յուրահատուկ փնջով եւ համով։ Այսօր շատ են նաև իրականացվում ծրագրեր գինու ճանաչելիության ուղղությամբ։ Իրականացվում են նաև մասնակցություններ տարբեր միջազգային ցուցահանդեսներին, տարբեր միջազգային միջոցառումներին։
Yerevan, the capital of Armenia, also hosts a wine festival. Here you can see a new generation, free to unabashedly express themselves in the streets, drunk on wine. Celebrations and enjoyment with a modern twist of a 1,000-year-old custom. One can enjoy wine from millennia-old Armenian traditional wine sorts in boutiques, restaurants, and even on the city streets, with every step. In the Yerevan lifestyle, wine can be accompanied by jazz, rock and roll, and even the noise of the city. Wine is a 6,000-year-old party that just won't stop. The home of wine has an address, the capital of its taste. Sun, water, and of course, the human element. This is the bouquet of Armenia, which can be enjoyed in every glass of wine.